Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ferris Sports Update. I'm your host, Rob Bentley, and thanks for tuning in. Got another busy day of Ferris State athletics and a lot to talk about as we'll talk Bulldog football. We'll check in with the Ferris State hockey team after their first weekend of the season, and we'll talk to a three-time All-American with the Ferris State women's cross-country program. First up, head coach Jeff Pierce with the Ferris State football team. And Coach, thanks for being on the show again with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Your team down in Findlay, Ohio this past Saturday got off to a slow start. Your team battled back, rallied back in the second half, came up just short, 43-35 loss to Findlay, but you have to be pleased with how your team battled back in that game.
Well, that was the positive part of it. I mean, I got a group of guys that aren't going to throw the towel in, and, you know, we came out in the first half, and we just weren't executing the way we needed to, and we just didn't get in sync offensively, and we moved the ball, and we kind of shot ourselves in the foot a few times. We had a couple turnovers and a couple costly penalties that made it hard to continue drives, and, you know, defensively, you know, we didn't play consistent all day long, you know, and we got to be able to make football plays there. And we put ourselves in a quite a deficit, you know, being down by 22 points at halftime. But, you know, I'm really proud of the way these guys, I mean, we fought. I mean, we came back and we just about pulled her out and scored 35 points in that second half, and the guys didn't back down.
I know first half, some uncharacteristic type play. You mentioned the penalties, a couple turnovers, but what were some of the adjustments you made, especially on the offensive side of the ball, going into the second half?
Well, we didn't change a lot, to be honest with you. We just needed to settle everybody down and say, hey, we're going to be fine. You know, just execute the way we've been talking about and preparing all week long. And, you know, Findlay's a good football team, and each one of these football teams that we face are a real challenge. And, you know, we gave them a little bit of energy there at the beginning of the ball game by not capitalizing in some of those situations, and they were flying high. I mean, so that's you know, when we came out in the second half and we got that first drive going and things started to click, and then you know, the offensive kids all kind of got back into the groove of things, and they couldn't stop us after that.
You mentioned first drive of the second half. As we go to the highlights now, got off a couple big passes on that first drive, and then a touchdown catch by Kevin Garand, and he had a nice ball game with a couple touchdown catches in the contest.
Yes, Kevin sure did. Here's a little bit of the highlights. This is Mike Ryan making a nice catch, and Mike had another great game. He had 11 catches, and here's a nice throw to Will Frazier, and this is our first drive right after halftime, and we take it right down and score, and this is Kevin Garand right here in the corner of the end zone, you know, going up and making a nice play, and ends up scoring here again not too long from here. But the guys, you know, there's fire in us right now. Defense is, you know, playing well, and they strip the ball here, and, you know, unfortunately, we had quite a discussion over this one. There was supposedly an inadvertent whistle, and, you know, at one thing it sounded like we were going to get the football. Next thing you know, no. But unfortunately, you can't be in those situations where officials can change the impact of a game. Here's offensively again, you know, in the second half, nice throw here to Mike Ryan again, and oh, excuse me, that was Damian Miller coming across the middle. Here we fake throwing the screen, and another pass caught in the corner of the end zone to Kevin Garand. You know, like I said earlier, Kevin had a nice day for us.
Tom Snyder accounted for 4 touchdowns, had 3 touchdowns passing the football. It seemed like he really settled down after that first half.
Yeah, he surely did. I mean, it was just a little bit out of sync in the first half, and you come out in the second half, and he just started, you know, he picked them apart, you know, not only throwing the football, but running the ball. And here we're getting right down to the final, you know, minutes of the ball game, and, you know, we need every point we can get down in here, and, you know, we were able to capitalize. Here was another frustrating thing. Had an onside kick. We actually had 3 onside kicks that we tried, and that was perfectly executed, and they didn't give it to us. You know, they said that it hit somebody else before it crossed the line, which on tape it didn't. Here's Mike Ryan again making another nice catch for a touchdown, and, you know, we got him on the run right now, and, you know, 43-28, go for another onside kick here, get this one, you know, and we got the ball back again. And again, we're dealing with limited amount of time here, and we march the thing down and score again. And here's Will Frazier on a sweep around the end, gets us down to about the 1-yard line, and here we go. Tom Snyder carries it in, punches it in, and now we're within 8. You know, we got about 30 seconds left to go on the clock, and one more opportunity here, and went for our 3rd onside of the night, and as you can see right here, and Unfortunately, weren't able to get the third one, but with that, we were able to pocket our 2 timeouts, and we would have had 30 seconds to go and 2 timeouts and a chance to go into overtime. And didn't quite happen for us.
It seemed like the way your offense was playing throughout the second half that they really felt they had a chance if you would have got the ball back there on the onside kick to go down and score once more.
There was no question. That was the mindset at this point. The guys were getting after it. I mean, they had a lot of confidence and we're playing at that level, and we cut ourselves a little bit short and spotted them too many points and kind of ran out of clock. But if we would have been able to get that ball back, and especially we had 2 timeouts, so on pretty good field position, I think we could have got ourselves in overtime. And at that point, there's no question, I think we would have pulled that game out, and that would have been quite an accomplishment. But you can't let a football team like that get ahead of you like they did.
This week you turn your attention to the Northern Michigan Wildcats as you come back home to Top Tiger Field, and I guess the good news is it's a homecoming contest, and hopefully you guys shouldn't have any problem getting up for this game.
No question about it. It'll nice to be back home, and homecoming special because the way I stress it to the football team, there's a lot of activities that are going on. Our job is to win a football game. These guys represent all of the players that played Ferris football over all the years, and it's our responsibility to go out and get after it. And Northern Michigan last year beat us up in the Dome, and we didn't play as well as we could have. And they're a good football team. They're just like the other teams. They ended up beating Findlay in 2 overtimes. So these are the caliber of competitions that we have right now with the different teams that we're facing.
You're at 4-2 heading into Saturday's 2 o'clock game against Northern Michigan. Still a lot left on the table in terms of what you guys hope to accomplish, and with the way the conference season is going, it's still anybody's game.
No question about it. And at the very beginning of the year, we had a serious talk about this as a football team. We play 1 week at a time, and we're out to get a win this week, and this is the most important game in our future because it's a game right in front of us, and we're going to do everything we can to prep ourselves during the course of the week, and it'll be an exciting football game.
Northern Michigan, you mentioned last year, had a chance to go up to the Dome. It was a very even ball game, came down to a couple points at the end. A team that's got some experience, a good coaching staff. Talk a little bit about what you know about Northern Michigan.
Well, they play good football. There's no question about it. I mean, they're a tough football team, very physical, and they'll get after you. And you have to be right on your game. And we look at the group of athletes that they have right now, and we've watched them grow as our guys have grown and matured. He's got a lot of seniors on defense, and very physical football team, a very dominant defensive line, and they're capable of beating anybody. And so we know we got our hands full.
What are some of the keys for your kids in being able to bounce back from this loss this past weekend and take that into the Northern Michigan game?
Well, and that's what we talked about on Sunday night. It's frustrating because you put a lot into it, and when you come up short, everybody's a little upset, and you've got to take that energy into a positive thing. Somebody needs to pay for that, and that's Northern Michigan coming in here this weekend, and we just have to focus on that.
Coach, best of luck, and again, kickoff on Saturday at 2 o'clock at Top Taggart Field.
Thank you.
When we come back, we'll talk Ferris State hockey as the Bulldog hockey team is off to a 2-0 start. Head coach Bob Daniels coming up next on Ferris Sports Update.